If you are instructing your mind, then you are not your mind. You must be something else. We would never conceivably look at my hand as I clench a fist and say, I am my hand. We instruct our hands. We instruct our knees. We instruct our feet. At some point along the way, we lost the truth that just as I'm not my hand and I'm not my knee, I am also not my mind. Where the difficulty now lies is we've become inseparable from our mind. We've become so enslaved by our mind that we think we are our mind. And that's because of the Western education and the Western philosophies that have been passed down. We go back to the earliest of the Western philosophies. What does Descartes say? He says, I think, therefore I am. Nothing could be further than the truth. His teaching in the West, because I have a mind, I exist. In other words, I am my mind. And the Guru is saying, what is this nonsense? The question we have to ask ourselves is, who's directing our mind? Imagine a boat out at sea without any oars. That's the mind. It's like going wherever it wants to go. It will go whichever way the current of Maya, it will go any which way the current of this world will take it. But we are supposed to be that jewel of recognition, of understanding that actually we have oars and we can direct that mind. Then it becomes a tool. Just as our hands and feet becomes tools that serve us, let's stop living in the dark recesses of the enslavement of our mind. We're all blessed to be in the company of Sri Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, Miri Piri the Malaka, Dal Panjan Guru Surma, Vadajoda Bahu, Parupakari, that one who is the destroyer of armies, that great Surma, that great warrior, Bahu Parupakari, that will help those that are in difficulty. We're blessed to be in the company of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji in their 11th form, in their eternal form. Sahib Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, and a humble benti Sadh Sangat Ji, my brothers, I'm so blessed to have a chance to have your darshan. Just come forward. We sit so far away. We've been traveling for so many lifetimes. We say it every time. We can start picking on the names at the back. We sit so far away. We're here to get close to Guru Sahib. When we sit far away from the Guru Sahib, we're instructing our minds that this is maybe 50-50. It's like when we put up our hands. We put up our hands like this, whether we're in or whether out. It's like we're telling ourselves. So when you direct your mind, we're going to be talking a little bit about this today. Being in prison and being a prisoner are two different things. This is what we was thinking about when it came to our mind about the Katha. We have to think about directing our minds as opposed to being directed by our minds. This is something that we're going to talk about a little bit today. And I'll make the benti, the humble supplication. The singing I seem to have this different. And the sing seems to slack a little bit here. When we come to the Guru Card, it's a little bit like we're on the bench. And the way that we come to the Gurdwara, the way that we participate, it's a little bit like we're on the bench, we're spectators here. This Maharaj Farmonde San, this is your school. This is a place where you're here to come and take those blessings, take that Sikhya. So when we come to the Gurdwara and you see your mind taking you to the back of the Darbar, don't think of it about longevity, but Guru Sahib can travel many miles. Don't think about it in the sense that Maharaj can travel the earth to see you. Think about you directing your mind as to how far you want to be from the Guru. We've come here to get close to the Guru. We direct your mind. And as you see your mind taking yourself to the back of the Darbar, you can instruct your mind with a sorti. Oi, no, I've come here to take from the Guru. But let's come close to the Guru. It's so wonderful to see so much Sangat come and give us their blessings and give us their darshan. We're blessed to be in the company of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj as we have their Sikhya, celebrating that day in the which is commonly associated and falls on the same day as Diwali, Deepmala, the lighting of candles, the bringing of light into the darkness. So we have this chance today to reflect in advance that we can take some Sikhya into our hearts, that these teachings that come into our hearts, that when we come to the Gurdwara on 12th of November, we've been informed. That we take this Sikhya into our minds, that when we come on the 12th of November, we know why we're coming here, why we're lighting those lights. And perhaps more importantly, whilst we're not just lighting a light in the foyer of the Gurdwara, where the Nishan Sahib is, we're actually going to be looking to light a light within our own hearts. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, their story of coming into this world is such a teaching of humility to us. It's written in our itihas that Mata Ganga Ji, she goes to her husband, Shaheed Sartaj, Sahib Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, the king of the Shaheeds. And they say, we're hearing that Priti Chand, your brother, is making strategies, making plans that they are looking to take over the throne of Guru Nanak, because we don't have any children in our house. Be Guru Sahib, please bless our house that we can have a child. Because absent a child in our house, your older brother is looking to usurp the throne of the house of the Guru. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji gives such a Sikhya to us. Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they say to their wife, they say to Mata Ganga Ji, our great-grandmother, they say, if you want a blessing in this world, go to that great Gyani, go to that Brahm Gyani, Baba Buddha Ji. They were giving such a teaching that when we come to the Gurdwara, we should have satkar for our Gyani. Baba Buddha Ji was the first in the lineage of Gyani, that when the Guru is being asked to give a gift, the Guru is saying, go and speak to Baba Buddha Ji, that great one who is a Brahm Gyani, who's a servant of the house of the Guru. And Mata Ganga Ji would go with many offerings, and they took with them their servants, and they took them with their Gursikhs, and they were being carried, and they took much delicious food. And when they go to see Baba Buddha Ji to make their ardas, Baba Buddha Ji in their eyes and in their heart, and even with their tongue, they say to Mata Ganga Ji, there's no hunger in my heart to eat this food you prepared. And Mata Ji goes back disappointed with her food that she instructed to be made. And she goes back empty-handed to go and see Guru Sahib, and explains to Guru Sahib, you told me to go see Baba Buddha Ji and make my requests, make my supplications, but Baba Buddha Ji didn't receive any of those gifts, any of those offerings. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji asked them, they said, how did you go? They go, well, I went with a great entourage, and the food that we had prepared was so delicious. And Guru Sahib says, no. When you go and see that Brahmgyani, it is the one that comes from Nimrata, that comes from humility in their heart. For that one who is one with the Lord, be har jana doi ek hai bib bichar kaj nahi. That one servant of the Lord, Har Jan and Parameshwar Vaheguru and their servant, there's no difference between the two. Har jana doi ek hai bib bichar kaj nahi. No difference can be found between the two. And what is it that Parameshwar Vaheguru is totally in need of? Gobind pao pagatata pukha. The only thing that Parameshwar Vaheguru is hungry for, the only thing that the saints are hungry for, is love for God. To be in a state of Prem Bhakti. And if you're ever lucky enough to be in the company of the Gursikhs, you can offer them many things and you'll see their faces straight. But when someone comes to your house and they happen to be doing Gatha, they do Kirtan, and they come and you offer them things, they may politely put a smile on their face. But when a Gurmukh walks in the room, they'll stand up. And they'll be like, you've given me such a blessing. You've given me the satsangat of a Gurmukh. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, they say to their wife, they say, go again to that house of Baba Buddha Ji, but this time go with humility. Make mise prachade, make simple prashade with your own hands. From a place of humility, but don't go with people. Walk barefooted, nange par. Don't have any shoes on, don't have any socks on your feet, and walk in that path to that house of Baba Buddha Ji. And in this way, you will see how you are received. And she follows these instructions. She makes very simple prashad from a place of love in her mind. Her thoughts are connected to the feet of the Sangat. And they go and see Baba Buddha Ji, and they say, today I'm very hungry. Please give me this offering that you have. My stomach is panging with hunger. And Mataji offers these very simple prashad made of simple grain. And Baba Buddha Ji takes the prashad, they eat them wholeheartedly. And then Mataji makes the ardas. And Baba Ji would take an onion and they would put it upon their knee. They would smash that onion upon their knee. And they said, just as this onion has been smashed in my knee, a son will be born in your house that will destroy the tyranny of the Mughal rule that is ripping across this Indian subcontinent. Akho Satanam Siri. And so it was, Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji. We were blessed. We're all blessed to have received the greatest grandfather, Miri Piri the Malik, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. That when Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji was born into this world, there were many attempts on their life, but by those that were jealous in the Guru's own house. But there's just one example that I want to just focus on for just a few moments because of time always being against us. There were many attempts to try and to assassinate Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji from a young age. And we're going to just touch on one of these. From a young age, Priti Chand, the elder brother of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they're so consumed with jealousy. They pay the Dai, which is the nurse in the house of the Guru, to put poison upon her breast, that when she is feeding the child of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, that they will poison Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. That when she puts this upon her body, that when the baby is feeding, that in this way that poison will go into her body. But Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, Antarajami, that one that is connected to Parameshwar Vaheguru, what happens in that moment is they start bellowing from within their body. They start screaming so loudly, they start roaring, you can say, that the time that is taken to settle, that poison, that the Dai, the babysitter, that one who is put in charge of looking after Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, that poison doesn't go outwardly, it goes within her own body, and it actually poisons herself and she dies. What teaching is this? As I was listening to the Katha, as I was preparing, doing the research, undertaking the course, to prepare what to share, what learnings to take and what learnings to receive with you guys today in the Sangha today, one thought came to my mind. What poison is it that we are projecting outwardly, thinking that we are going to cause difficulties in the world, but actually we're poisoning ourselves? It's the poison of Nindya. And this Sikhya it's gotten so faint amongst our generation that I'm really grateful to be a part of this resurgence of it being brought back. What is this curse, this poison of Nindya? Nindya means when you're talking bad of people, when you're spreading rumors, when you're spreading lies about people behind their back. All of that can come under the umbrella of Nindya. You may be motivated out of jealousy. It might be out of insecurity. It might be just because your tongue has been conditioned in such a way that these things become sweet. And sometimes we're doing Nindya, we don't even know what we're doing Nindya. And we're projecting these things outwardly, but actually we're poisoning our own minds. Let me give an example that just shows how Kaljug is tricking us with Nindya. When we're watching these soap operas on TV, or even when we're with our friends, or we're listening to people having conversations, it's quite often we hear, or you may have even heard this sentence being said, "Oh, I can't wait to see you later when I've got some gossip to share with you." "Oh, did you hear about so-and-so? When I see you later, I'll tell you all the details." And you hear these sentences being thrown out, and it's become something to become excited about. Sadh Sangat Ji, when has our mat become so low that we indulge in the worst circumstances of other people's conditions? Guru Maharaj says, Ninda pali kisai ki nahi. Ninda pali kisai ki nahi. Manmukha mugad karan. Maharaj kende, Nindya don't do anything for you. Ninda pali kisai ki nahi. When you're doing back chat, and when you're listening to those Nindya, they do nothing for you. These are the actions of a manamuk, a person who's enslaved by their mind, as opposed to one who's directing their mind. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj gives us such a teaching, asank nindaka sir karhe par. That when we do Nindya, what we're doing is we're taking par, we're taking weight, and we're putting it upon our head. What would be of any use in doing this? If we just took the dust of this earth, the pain and the pap of this world and putting it upon our head, just to give us an idea, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, the greatest warrior that ever walked upon this earth, if you hear about the vicious, ruthless ways in which they wielded the sword against thousands, this is a guru that is beyond fear. And what do they choose to educate us about? This is the greatest warrior. When you read in Dasambani about Guru Maharaj on the battlefield, they can see rivers of blood. They have a cap on their knee with a spike on it. They're embedding people. Their skulls are being smashed and blood is being spilt as the Jogniya are screaming and belching as they enjoy the blood being spilt by Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj. So this is one who's fearful of nothing. But what advice do they talk to their Guru Sikhs about? They talk about Nindya. They say before you even get on the battlefield, before you even get in the ring, don't concern yourself with those fights. If you lose the biggest fight, you lose yourself. You lose Nindya. You lose through Nindya. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj in Dasambani, they speak about Nindya and they give us a scale to help us understand just how deceitful, how much of a chore Nindya is in stealing from us. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj explains that when you take bhang, opium, that you do damage to your body. That when you take alcohol, 7 generations of your family will come to suffer. If you take tobacco, which is the jagat joot, it's the dirt of this entire earth. For a good Sikh, tobacco is the most gand that you can possibly touch. It's the worst of the worst. For many reasons that we haven't got time to go into today. Suffice to say, in our itihas, Guru Gobind Singh Ji's horse wouldn't even go into a field of tobacco, let alone Guru Maharaj themselves or the Guru Sikhs. Even the Kaur of Guru Maharaj wouldn't go into those fields. But tobacco is the most ganda thing that you can get near. And other cultures will say this is fine. You see people having shops outside and they've only got a little bit of tobacco and they say just smoke this pipe. And we're seeing our own brothers and sisters getting sucked into this gand. As we're looking at other people's cultures that don't look upon it this way, we listen to your Guru. As we sit there, we're looking at our own brothers and sisters at shisha bars, we've got to be having a look going, this is not for us. Tobacco is the most gand that we can take part in. Even worse than opium, even worse than alcohol is tobacco, says Guru Maharaj. But there's one stage even further. Guru Sahib says, putting bhang aside, putting alcohol and tobacco aside, if you engage in nindya, if you put that poison on yourself outwardly, thinking you're going to poison someone outwardly, you're going to poison yourself. Anek kul, Maharaj says, anek kul, countless generations of your family will come to suffer. There's actually a great example of how much we should be looking at nindya in this way. Guru Maharaj talks about this in the Japji Sahib Katha, which is uploaded already. That from a previous age is a king, and this king desired to serve all of the holy people in a jug, to give lots of langar to all of the holy people. So they call all of the holy people together to serve langar to people. And unbeknownst to this king, a bird has come and picked up a snake and has dropped the snake into the batta that the food is being made in. We can't call it langar because obviously Guru Nanak Bacha brought langar to this world in this Kaljug to bring some light into this dark age. In a previous age, they would have referred to as a jug when they would just feed holy people. And so this bird has come and dropped a snake into that big batta, and all of the poison is there. All of those people that partake in that food, they get poisoned and they die. The king, consumed in his mind by having seen all of this death around him, they renounce their throne. They abdicate their throne and they go into the jungle as a renunciate. And every now and again, the king would come out. They would come into the marketplace to trade or to beg so that they can get some food, that they can carry on surviving. And what happens is someone in that marketplace, they see the king. And they say, that's the king that killed all those people. Now, in that moment, Sadh Sangat Ji, the way that is described in our itihas by Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji Khasa Pindana Wale, is the karam of those actions hadn't attached themselves. The consequence of those actions, of all of those deaths, hadn't yet attached themselves to the king because the king hadn't intended to do that. So the karam, the action had happened, but it hadn't attached itself for someone as their outcome. And what happened was the person that was doing the nindya of that king, that karam actually attached itself to that person. He became a leper and died. So while I speak about Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, we think about Guru Maharaj as the greatest warrior, and they were the greatest poet, yes, even so. That one who was victorious on the battlefield against innumerable odds, against 1.8 million, for such a great king of ours, such a great guru of us to look to us and say, listen, my Guru Sikhs, my Guru Khalsa, my beloved, those who are put above me, those that I look to serve, what instructions do I have for you? Stay away from nindya. Don't let yourself get caught up in this, even as a joke. Let it be the case, Sadh Sangat Ji, that when you hear people talking about people in a way that you consider this low-class behavior, step away. You haven't got to become righteous and educating if you don't want to do that, but step away from that. Perchance that might attach to you, whatever karam is there, and don't let other people's insecurities and their low standards become our own. We only want to be responsible for the praise and the support and the upliftment of those that are looking to make moves in our society. And if you're a part of a circle where these conversations are constantly happening, you can just check yourself. Now with this knowledge, you'll notice that you've gone home, you think, what, I feel so exhausted. All we did was go for a coffee, I feel drained. When you sit in the company of those that are constantly doing nindya, it will steal more from you than you'll ever know. Anek kul, says Maharaj. Okay, we go back to that itihas. That Dai has put the poison upon herself to poison Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. And who is she really poisoning? She's poisoning herself. Ninda pali kise ki nahi manmukh mugad karan. Sadh Sangat Ji, we'd like to keep it functional learning here. Let's have a little think about where we're not going to sit, where those negative conversations are happening, where those people are constantly pulling people down. No, it's low-class behavior. Let's rise above that, and in this way, let's not bring Nindya to our breakfast table. Can we imagine that in our own houses, we're bringing that to our children's breakfast table and then sending them to school and saying, go get nourished in your mind? No. Let's give our children true nourishment. To this day, Sadh Sangat Ji, there are controversies in the Panth. Yeah, when people ask me, have you heard about this? I say, I don't know. They go, how can you not know about this? I say, I don't listen to India. I say, I'm fine. I'm doing all right. Knowledge of that person, these videos that we're sharing around, that we're spitting around, don't think for a second that you're sending that video to someone else. You're sending a message to your Atma, Sadh Sangat Ji, and to your mind. And Guru Sahib saying to us, be Atam jine sagalava satake. Atam jine sagalava satake. Atam jine sagalava satake. Jaka Satguru Pura. You want to take control of your life? You want to stop your head spinning with anxiety in the morning? When you wake up, stop undertaking Nindya. Direct your mind that you're not going to be there when those conversations take place. And you just watch the upliftment. The amount of times that negativity can be attributed to the way that we feel, that anxiety, the amount of times that Nindya can be attributed, given blameworthiness for the way that we feel. It's going to be a great day tomorrow as we wake up devoid of those negative conversations, only partaking in positive conversations to do with the upliftment and the support of each other. Guru Maharaj spoke these words to us at the Katha last month. Guru Govinda Kripa Kari. Guru Govinda Kripa Kari. Guru Govinda Kripa Kari. Rakhya Mera Pai, Meri Pai. Guru Govinda Kripa Kari. Rakhya Mera Pai. Says the Guru that I'm looking forward to the day. I consider it a blessing when you've uplifted my people. I consider it a blessing and my prayers have been answered when we look to the positive outcomes for those around us. So Sadh Sangat Ji, we spent quite a bit of time dwelling on this because we're seeing a lot of people suffering, and at the same time, when they're talking to us about their problems, we're hearing a lot in India. And I'm like, can't you see that the two are linked? Someone will phone me up and say, Singh, can I ask you a question? And during the course of that conversation, all I'll hear is lots of negative talk about other people. I'm like, you're responsible for that negative state of your own being. Let's have a little look, Sadh Sangat Ji, where we're going to sit tomorrow and whether we're going to partake in that or whether we're going to make a move. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, Miri Piri de Malik, as they come into this world, as they are raised up from a very young age, from the age of 11 years old, they become their father. They see their father, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, become Shaheed. They give their Shaheedi because Chandu had requested that the son of Guru Arjan Dev Ji be wed to their daughter, but the Sangat of the Guru had heard that Chandu had done Nindya of the house of the Guru. They did a ardas, they did a benti to Maharaj, but don't let it be the case that your son marries into the house of those that do Nindya of the Guru's house. So because of that, Chandu had their rishta refused. And because of this, great enmity had been built up by Chandu and Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. They wanted to see the house of the Guru come to an end. So what happened, Sadh Sangat Ji? Chandu sees that the emperor Jahangir has become very ill. So what he does, he bribes an astrologer. He bribes an astrologer to tell the emperor that the reason he is ill is because a very holy person is yet to go into the Gwalior fort and do tap for the benefit of Jahangir. Chandu is trying to manipulate the situation that Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji is sent to the prison where people go in but they don't come out. Gwalior fort was such a dilapidated place. It had its own graveyard within it. People would only go into that place. They would never leave that place. They would die, they would be cremated, they would be buried within those confines. It wasn't an ordinary jail. When we hear the katha from Bhai Amandeep Singh, he explains there wasn't an ordinary jail for ordinary people. It was actually a place for political prisoners that would want to be silenced. Those that would speak out against the emperor, they would be placed in this sort of a jail. So Chandu speaks to those astrologers and they make the bribes, and the astrologers speak to the emperor and they say, you need to have one whose name is Hargobind go into this jail. That they need to do tapasya for 40 days. And if you do this, in this way you'll become well. So in this way, Chandu is trying to manipulate the situation. He's already trying to badmouth the house of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. We see the outcome of Chandu in just a few minutes, but he's doing nindya of the house of the Guru. What can come of it? Now it's so obvious to us as we hear Chandu as speaking nindya of the house of the Guru, trying to manipulate and strategically deploy his own position against Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. We know of it now from what we've just spent the last few minutes, that this nindya is going to get them nowhere but a dark place. Chandu's already consumed, their mind is already tormented. The emperor requests an audience with Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. And when they come forward, Jahangir does a benti. They do a supplication, they make a request. They say, I've been told by my astrologers that I'm very ill, that the only way that I can be saved is if somebody goes into the Gwalior fort and they undertake tapan, they undertake jap tap, and in this way, I'll become better. Now, Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, Miri Piri de Malik, they've come here, Dal Panjan Guru Surma, Vada Joda, Bahu Parupakari, they've come here for the upliftment of those that have become lost. They have got their own reason for going to that fort. They've got their own reason for wanting to go into that place, that darkest of place that none would dare go. Because in that Gwalior fort, there were 52 kings, 52 Raja, they were political prisoners that were speaking out against the Mughal regime. And so Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, they know of the twisted nature of Chandu and the manipulations of the dark age of Kal Yuga in his own mind. He knows that Chandu is doing this. He knows of the astrologer's false words. He knows that the emperor's illness is not caused by his absence from the fort, but he knows also that he is his own Mauj, that they are the form of the Guru, that they are one with Parmeshwar Vaheguru, and they've got their own business in that fort. So they say to the emperor, we'll go to that fort. And what can you imagine what it's like in this dark place where the poison is being put in the food to slowly kill those prisoners politically who have been placed there, that they should never walk out from this fort. And Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, that one who is the great light, goes into that fort. Can you imagine what it would be like completely in the darkness, completely on your own? And you're in a prison and there's no way out. And then 7 foot tall, with a beautiful dastar upon their head, though no one was allowed to wear a dastar at that time. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, that one who is the form of the formless Lord, the sixth form of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, they go into this prison and they start doing Bachan Bilas, they start doing Katha, they start doing Gurmat Vichar with those that the world had forgotten about. Can you imagine how it would have felt to be in the company of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj? Sadh Sangat Ji, as we put our minds to the thought of these prisoners in this world, in that prison, the thought comes to my mind that in many ways we're prisoners. Whilst we're not sitting in Pentonville or Wormwood Scrubs, whilst we're not sitting in a custody cell somewhere, in many ways as we wake up, clinging to the false assumptions of what we must do, how we must behave, and who we must appease, we're actually prisoners in our own minds. As we live in fear, that's holding us back from taking steps towards our Guru, that we know we should be living for a higher purpose. In many ways, we are in the confines of our own Gwalior fort. As we wake up feeling anxious, knowing that we're going to go tonight to a place, as the seasonal festivities start to kick in, as everybody's work dues start putting dates in the diaries and you've got to accept them on your iPhone app to say, don't book another evening, we're going to be going here, we're going to be going there. As we start directing ourselves to places that we don't want to go with our hands or our feet or our eyes or our ears, as we go there because we've been told to in a societal way, in many ways, not making those choices of our own, we can say that we're prisoners in our own mind. And the Guru is explaining to us, wake up. And we say this Bhakti nearly every chance we're lucky enough to say this Bhakti. Guru Sahib is saying to us, you're beyond these minds' enslavements. These directions, these invitations, they are invitations to your mind to keep up social appearances, to go where you think you need to stand. These are just invitations to your mind, but you are beyond your mind, says the Guru. Man tu jot saroop hai, apana mool pachan. We're going to just stay with this for a few moments, Sad Sangat Ji, because this is about functional learning, and I'm just speaking to myself here. Bhai Amandeep Singh, what social conventions are we complying to? That really we know that causes only pain, but we get to say, yeah, we turned up. Yeah, we stood at the crowd. Guru Sahib saying, but you're not your mind. These invitations to continue suffering are invitations to your mind. You've been accepting them up to this day. But how's that served you so far? How's it served the world to this day? Guru Sahib saying, you are not your mind. Guru Maharaj is so beautifully explaining to us like a father to a son, father to a daughter, how many panktiyan now we're going to ring differently as we say them. Be e man meriya, tu sada raho har naal raho tu man mere, duk sab visarna. Guru Sahib speaking to us beyond the mind. They're saying, e man meriya. They're speaking to themselves in the first person, but they're saying to us, we should replicate that. We should look at that and follow that example. Be e man meriya. Listen very carefully to this, Sad Sangat Ji. E man meriya. Guru Sahib speaking to their mind. They're saying that I am going to direct my mind. E man meriya, tu sada raho arnale. They're giving an instruction to their mind. Listen very carefully. If you are instructing your mind, then you are not your mind. You must be something else. We would never conceivably look at my hand as I clench a fist and say, I am my hand. We instruct our hands. We instruct our knees. We instruct our feet. Sad Sangat Ji, at some point along the way, we lost the truth that just as I'm not my hand and I'm not my knee, I am also not my mind. Just as I can instruct my knee, I can instruct my hands, we should also be instructing our minds. Where the difficulty now lies is we've become inseparable from our mind. We've become so enslaved by our mind that we think we are our mind. And that's because of the Western education and the Western philosophies that have been passed down. We go back to the earliest of the Western philosophies. René Descartes is recognized as one of the fathers of Western philosophy. Descartes is still taught in universities today. What does Descartes say? He says, I think, therefore I am. Nothing could be further than the truth. Descartes is teaching the West, because I have a mind, I exist. In other words, I am my mind. And the Guru is saying, what is this nonsense? Guru Sahib saying to us, be wary of your mind. Be e man chanchala chatarai kine na paya. They're saying your mind is very clever, but your cleverness of your mind will never get you anywhere. Be in this way, don't get caught up in the tricks of your mind. So, Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, the question we have to ask ourselves is who's directing our mind? Imagine a boat out at sea without any oars. That's the mind. It's like going wherever it wants to go. It will go whichever way the current of Maya, it will go any which way the current of this world will take it. But we are supposed to be that jot of recognition, of understanding that actually we have oars and we can direct that mind. Then it becomes a tool. Just as our hands and feet becomes tools that serve us, let's stop living in the dark recesses of the enslavement of our mind. And I think the very first step in doing that is to recognize, you are not your mind. We are something so much more beautiful than that. And nothing gets clearer in that teaching than to say, Man tu jot saroop hai, you are the light of God. Apana mool pashan, go beyond your mind and recognize who you really are inside. Aakho Satanam Siri. Vahe Guru. 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 Guru Sahib says, Guru Gobind gayo nahi janam akarat takeen kaho nanaka har pajamana. Jehe bid jalako mean. Now, that word mind becomes so... we've been hearing these Shabbats so long, and the teachings are going to continue to reveal themselves to us because this Sukh Sagar, there's no depth to this ocean that we can reach. We're never going to reach that place where we fully understand Gurbani because it's infinite and it's alive. Gurbani is alive. Sadh Sangat Ji. So, next time we're thinking about doing something, ask yourself, is it you deciding to do that or is it your mind? Does it serve you, for you are not your mind, or does it serve your mind? And when we make that separation, you'll find yourself in a situation sometimes when your mind is directing you somewhere and you'll start chuckling. You say, you look clever. I know exactly where you're going with this. They would call that schizophrenia in the West, as they try and make you one with your mind. As they try and join you with that mind, those that are completely aligned with their mind, we call those in Gurmat, we call them man mukh. We call those ones that are completely absorbed in their mind. Yeah? At one, we say, with your mind. They say you should be at one with your mind. Nonsense. The mind is here to keep you attached into Maya. The mind only exists in Maya. Guru Maharaj explains this. Jab hum hote tab tu nahi, ab tu hi main nahi. Anal agam jaise leher mein odat, jal keval jal mahi. Maharaj says, Jab hum hote. They say, when you're there, when I'm here, jab hum hote tab tu nahi. Jab hum hote tab tu nahi. They say, when I consider that my mind is alive and around, then you're not around. Ab tu hi main nahi. But when you're present, in other words, when I go beyond my mind, then there'll be a place for you to exist. In the East, again, we go to the philosophy of the East. We'll have heard this in different contexts. It comes up a lot in martial arts. Bruce Lee made this really famous, this philosophy of emptying your cup. Bruce Lee would say, before you go to an Ustad, before you go to an Akara, before you go to a Gurdev to learn Shastra Vidya, to learn Kung Fu, Jeet Kune Do, whatever you're going to learn, come with an empty cup. Don't come with your mat that you think you know everything, that you need to just touch it up. Come with an empty cup, and this way you can fill it. It's the same teaching, but again, it's your mind saying you already know this. If we really knew it, we wouldn't be in Dubda, we wouldn't be in that duality. So Sadh Sangat Ji, we spent a bit of time on this. It only becomes functional if we take it away and we start directing our minds. That when we start understanding that our mind is not here to serve us, our mind here is here to perpetuate its own existence. And your mind exists in homme, exists in ego. There's a wonderful gatha that my sister has done. Maybe we can put a link up to it at the end. It's about homme, it's about ego. And it's about understanding the difference between you and your ego. And that when we go beyond our ego, we can understand ourselves. So Sadh Sangat Ji, we spent a bit of time on this. There are many people that are in prison. But being in prison and being a prisoner are two separate things. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji was in prison at their own violation. They were there at the behest of their own mauj, of their own instruction, of their own beautiful will. They were there to bring that gurmat, to bring that jyot, to bring that light to those Pavanja Raje, those 52 kings that were being wrongfully detained for speaking out against an unjust regime. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji would do Gurmat Vichar at the Sangat. And after 40 days had passed, Chandu continued their manipulations, even though the Guru was supposed to be released and there was no signs of the improvement of the health of Jahangir. They continued to detain Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. So what happens, those 5 Guru Sikhs that were with Guru Arjan Dev Ji at their Shaheedi, including Bhai Bidhi Chand, Bhai Jeta Ji, Bhai Langaha, those 5 Guru Sikhs that were there, they would arrange Nagar Kirtans and they would go and they would encircle the fort. Some say that these are the first Nagar Kirtans that took place for the Panth. And they would protest about Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji being unlawfully detained in that Gwalior fort. And when the emperor was made aware of this, they seek the advice of a great Muslim Peer who's actually a Shardalu of the house of the Guru. And they say, your illness is not improved because you've put Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji into this situation, but you're only going to find any release when you arrange for Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji to be brought out of that prison. And so it was that Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji was told that you can leave that fort. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, what would happen next has never happened before and will never happen again in Itihas. Never before in history has a prisoner refused to be released from their own imprisonment. As I said, Sad Sangat Ji, when the wards would come, when the guards that had been sent to guard Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji in that prison, they were told that the emperor is saying that you can be released. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji says, no, I'm staying right here. No, I'm not going to leave these people that are suffering to some fate at your own hands. Be these 52 kings will walk out with me. And when the messenger goes back to Jahangir, expecting to hear that the Guru is very pleased that he's being released, that he's having it thrown back in his face, the emperor says, the Guru is saying, what? He's not leaving that prison unless those that are wrongfully imprisoned also will be released. So Jahangir, perhaps mockingly, they say, whomsoever can hold, this Guru thinks that his robe is so long and so strong and so powerful, that his reach is so long, that he can instruct me from within that prison cell. But tell the Guru that whoever can hold on to their robe as they leave that fort, those people can be liberated, the rest will remain. But Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji was beyond the mind. Whilst that might confine our minds, the Guru that is beyond the mind, they have a special chola made that's got 50 kalgiya, 50 tassels on it. And there were 2 bits on the side also. And so it was that Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, what would they do? They would place 1 tassel of those 50 kalgiya into the hands of those 52 Raje. And the 2 that remained would hold on to the sides. And so it was that Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji would walk out of that prison. Just think of this sight. These are kings in this worldly sense. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji is walking out of that fort that nobody hitherto has walked out from. The most dark and deft of places where the only thing awaiting for you is torture and death. And Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji is walking out of that place, the most beautiful jyot, light, beaming from within their being, and behind them, holding on for dear life, holding on to dear light, are 52 kings holding on to the robes of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. Akho Satanam Siri. Jahangir's illness dissipates. They say, your release has brought about my wellness. Be ask of me what you will. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, they speak to the Sangat. They say, we want Chandu. We want that one that through their own malicious means, through their own manipulations, they would try to seek the Shaheed, they would try to seek the torture of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. That they would arrange for Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj in the years that had just passed to be tortured over 5 days, to have hot burning pincers taken to their flesh, ripping their flesh from their bones, to have white sand poured upon their head, to have them burned from below as they sat on the Tatti Tavi. All because Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj would not marry their daughter, because Guru Arjan Dev Ji wouldn't marry their son to Chandu's daughter, because Chandu had done nindya of the house of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. This is how much respect Guru Arjan Dev Ji had for the Sangat. The Sangat's wishes were that you cannot marry your daughter, you cannot marry your son to the daughter of that household where the nindya have taken place, of the house of the Guru. Again, that point being illustrated. Look at all that happened. Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Shaheed and the Sartaj, the king of all the Shaheeds. They would sit on that Tatti Tavi as they were being cooked, their flesh was being cooked from below. And they would recite the Pankti, Bi Tera Kiya, Meetha Lage, Har Naam Padarat, Nanak Mange. They say, all of your will is sweet unto me. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, what teaching is this? That Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji would rather suffer such for the good Sikhs than to justify or permit or to be seen to be endorsing nindya of the house of the Guru. What teaching is this? That we are so free with our tongue to criticize and speak like we have a right to speak ill of those in the house of the Guru because we think we might know best. Just the fear of us not being wrong should be enough to direct our minds elsewhere. And if we can't say anything positive, to just remain silent, Guru Arjan Dev Ji would go down that path. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji has come out of the fort. Their willness now, they bring wellness to the being of Jahangir. For even the enemies, when they would look upon the face of the Guru, darshan dekhata dokh na se, all of the illness would pass. just by having darshan of the Guru. They say to the Guru, what do you want for this blessing that you've brought upon me by making my illness fall away? Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, they consult the Sangat say, bring us Chandu. That one who's done Nindya of the house of the Guru, that one that brought about in his own mind anyway, has sought to bring about the Shaheedi of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the torture and the opportunity for martyrdom of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. And so the good Sikhs, they would take Chandu and they would put a ring through his nose and they would tie him to a horse and cart. He would be dragged from place to place as he would be beaten. When they would eventually get to Lahore, ones that Chandu had directed to pour hot sand upon the body of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, they had become so mad at following their mind's instructions and doing what Chandu had told them. They were in so much repentance, they were in so much regret for being a part of Chandu's plans, they were consumed. The same ones that had been instructed to follow the Nindya of Chandu and pour hot sand from clay pots upon the body of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they took those same clay pots and they smashed them on the head of Chandu. What teaching is this, Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji? We are the house of the utmost humility. In the house of the Guru, there is langar for all. We've only got to come here during the week and we can see whenever there's a refugee community that have come into the UK, the first place that they come is the house of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji underneath the Nishan Sahib to break bread, to receive langar, to receive sustenance. At this Gurdwara alone, they feed hundreds of students every Monday. We're giving them weekly supplies to just take them through the week, irrespective of race or religion. But whilst this is the house of humility, if somebody steps and they push you, Guru Arjan Dev Ji would teach us the true meaning of humility. Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji would teach us also, there's royal blood in this house, that if you're going to push and you're going to keep pushing, we also have a right to push back. And this is a Sikhya, again, that is difficult for us to digest because we've become so westernized, we've become so indoctrinated by a different syllabus. Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, it's up to you to direct your mind, and now those words ring differently, as to which syllabus you want to be subscribing to. We spoke about something similar to this at Gurdwara. I'll just say it, as a Gravesend Gurdwara. And we got complaints afterwards. They said, Amandeep, you can't say that. You can't be saying to children that if someone pushes you, you should push them back. That if someone hits you, you should smack them straight back. Because he said, you're going to get our children in trouble. I said, bruv, if you're telling your children not to follow this advice, they're in bigger trouble already. If you're telling your children to go tell the teacher, see how that serves them later on in life. Sadh Sangat Ji, it's not my wish for anybody to be sitting outside a headmaster's room, least of all my nephews and nieces that come to this Gurukar. But Sadh Sangat Ji, if we teach our children to push back and have that in their eyes, no one will push them in the first place. Go and see how many times people have started on Mike Tyson. How many people pick fights on the greatest heavyweights in this world? Sadh Sangat Ji, it's not the case that we should be violent, but the propensity to stand up against injustice will mean that violence will never be committed upon us. And this example of a royal decree saying, bring me Chandu, is a teaching to our minds. We shouldn't be looking with bloodlust, but we should have the ability to stand up against those that are looking to persecute us. Too often it's the case that we're getting phone calls about children out of schools being bullied. Too often it's the case we're hearing about people being discriminated against. And it's the same pattern. And there's no judgment here, but we're looking at the causes of that from a place of functional progress. Most of those houses are absent itihas. They don't know their history. They're absent Gursikhi, or they're absent Sangat. Very few Sangat are being bullied if they're connected in the Sangat. There's very few people that are being bullied or have bullying issues that are connected to the Sangat. There's very few Singhs that are having themselves messed around with and having the dastara knocked off their heads, that are training in Vidya, that know their itihas. And that's a difficult pill to swallow because we always want to outsource responsibility to a bully. I don't know where everyone else has grown up, but there's bullies everywhere. Since I was a young kid, I've known bullies every single place I've gone. Whether it's been the playgrounds of an all-white school, whether it's been a college of a multiracial area, whether it's been the courtrooms, wherever I've been, there's always been bullies looking to take advantage. The question is whether we're going to have a victim mentality and say you shouldn't be doing that, or whether we're going to propagate a way of living from the teachings of the Guru, where we say, bring me Chandu. See if Chandu comes back in its next form. Sadh Sangat Ji, make no mistake about it. These aren't just sweet words that we go home feeling a bit pumped up, we can lift some heavier weights. No, this is a mentality we have to adopt. Where do we adopt this mentality? We must wipe our minds clean. We have to unlearn what we've been indoctrinated with, and with a clean slate, we instruct our mind to the charan of the Guru. Guru Sahib says, Anchal, quite fittingly, Guru Sahib says, Anchal geke sadka tarna eho sansar. You want to cross over this world without blemishes, without difficulties? Hold on to the hem of the robe of the Guru. Anchal, the hem of the Guru's robe. It's quite fitting that Guru Arjan Dev Ji gives us his teaching as we're talking about Bandi Chhor Divas. 52 kings are holding on to the robe of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, literally being liberated from a prison. It's up to us to do away with our mind's thoughts and assumptions and falsehoods and hold on to the Guru's teachings. Anchal gehke sadka tarna eho sansar. And in this way, tarna eho sansar will cross over this world. Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, Chandu has those pots that he had instructed to torture Guru Arjan Dev Ji smashed upon their head. And Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji and the Sangat now, they set off that after the release of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, that they now reach Darbar Sahib. They now reach Harmandir Sahib, that place, the foundations of which were raised by Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj. That Gurukar, that Hari Mandir was then built upon by Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji would install the Akal Takht. They would build that Takht, that timeless throne, just outside of the Darbar, where the spiritual realm exists that temporal, that place, that parliament, if you will, where the Gursikhs go to get our supreme instructions. Sadh Sangat Ji, it is written in our history that when Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji would come into the Parkarma, Baba Buddha Ji, and all of the great Gursikhs, Bhai Gurdas Ji, Bhai Jeta Ji, Bhai Langaha, all of the beautiful Gursikhs that have brought about such celebrations, they're now standing there, they're lighting dive. They're lighting beautiful lights to celebrate that one who's been absent physically has now come back into the house of the Guru. Akho Satanam Siri. Can you imagine Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji with 52 kings following them? See, let us be a guest in your kingdom. Those kings' names are forgotten in this world, but Guru Hargobind Sahib's name will always resound. Dalapanjan Guru Surma, Varajoda Bahu, Parupakari, the destroyer of armies. That one who is Bahu Parupakari, that will help us even in our day-to-day toil. Sadh Sangat Ji, only a few decades ago, Bhai Satwant Singh, they're in prison. The assassination of Indira Gandhi, who would seek to wage war on the Sikhs by sending tanks and F-18s dropping bombs from the sky upon that same Darbar that was lit up by the blessings of the Guru. He's in prison after undertaking that assassination. And in his knee is a bullet. And that bullet is causing him so much pain. When I hear the Gurmukh speak, they say only one who's ever been shot in the knee will know the pain of what it feels like to have a bullet in their knee. They can't take the bullet out of their knee, nor do they want to, for they want those enemies of the state to suffer. Bhai Satwant, they do ardas to Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. Maharaj, this pain is unbearable. Bhai Satwant Singh would give the teachings to the Sangat that in my own prison cell, that Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji would come and they would give me darshan, that they would take that bullet out from my knee. Sadh Sangat Ji, that bullet that was taken from the knee from Bhai Satwant Singh is still in the family, it's still in the lineage of that family. Even to this day, you can have darshan. So Sadh Sangat Ji, the question we have to ask ourselves is, what are we asking for? Have we yet even to ask for the darshan of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji nowadays? As we walk around in this world, are we really free? Or are we prisoners in our own assumptions, in the maya of this world? And if we are able to recognize that, that's the first step towards becoming liberated. Sadh Sangat Ji, for me, I'm just sharing my own thoughts with you. Bhai Amandeep Singh, if we want to go outside the prison of this world, The only way to be liberated is to fall at the feet of the Guru. Yes, we come in physically and do matha tek, but we see the robe of the Guru at the feet of the Guru. Do we really hold on to that robe? Anchal gehe ke sadhka tarna eho sansar. As we do parikrama, as we do matha tek, as we walk around Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, knowing from the teachings that you are sitting in our company, how is it that we can go about having your darshan? It is by your own blessings. We can only ask. So Sadh Sangat Ji, today we've spoke a little bit about the mind. The teaching that comes to my mind, and those words now sound a little bit different, don't they? The teachings that go to me from beyond my mind, I should say, is that we are not our mind. And as we fall victim to the difficulties and the pains, know this, all of our pains and our difficulties and our anxieties, they only exist within the mind. Sadh Sangat Ji, I think it's about time that we start living, that we look to go beyond the mind. And in this way, when we go beyond the mind, Thakur Gaye Atam Rang, the Guru says, sing the praises of God, not in your mind, but from a place of love. Where does love exist? Love exists beyond the mind. We Thakur Gaye Atam Rang. If you do this, what will happen? Sarani Pavana, Namatiyavana, Sahaja Samavana, Sangha. That if you come into the sanctuary of the Guru, Sarani Pavan, Namatiyavana, that you make a commitment that, I'm going to start doing Simran every single day. Sarani Pavan and Namatiyavan, what will happen? Sahaja Samavana Sang. Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, what gift is this? You won't get to see your Guru. Sahaja Samavana Sangha, but you'll have the company of the Guru. There will be your company at all times. So Sadh Sangat Ji, we're thinking about doing this Gatha before November the 12th, that we can direct our minds. We've got a few days between now and then. Let's have a little think. What is it that we're going to bring about? What change are we going to bring about that next time we sit before the Guru, we've made progress? That we've opened the door in that prison? That we've recognized we're in a prison, we're going to go outside of it. Maybe we're going to keep our kiss. Maybe we're going to give up whatever intoxicant it is that's holding us back. Maybe we're going to direct our minds to shut up as it tries to take us to places, as this Western seasonal festivities start to take place in our workplaces. Let's start asking ourselves who we're living for and asking ourselves how that's doing for us so far. As we start living for the Guru, by the blessings of the Guru. Sadh Sangat Ji, you are the Sangat of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. If I've made any mistakes, please forgive me. November the 12th, as we come here and light Diva outside, let's also light a light within our own heart. Bigur Sakhi Jodh Paragat Hoy, that those teachings become alive within our own being, that we start living. So once again, just a quick thank you. So many of you come out. It's so wonderful to see the Sangat in the Darbar on a Thursday evening. I'm so humbled and so grateful. I ask for your forgiveness. Be lekhe kathena shutiye kin pullan har baksan hara baksale nanak paryotar. Vaheguru Ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki fateh.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.